welcome back to the table. I'm Kaleb and this is Taylor.
What's up?
And we are here having a conversation about Christmas.
Let's go.
So if you're new to the table, we like to just talk about random stuff from Jesus to Jesus. And you're welcome to be part of this conversation. Please comment and add things. We love to, have conversations and stuff that you may want to hear us talk about.
That would be great.
That could be fun things. It could be spiritual things. It could be just about anything.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that we sit around the table and we have conversations with one another, and a lot of good things end up coming out of those conversations. Yeah. Right? They might start as fun, and then there's deep things that like address our souls and spiritual well-being.
Yeah,
and
it's
health,
all connected.
It's all connected in some way. And so just having conversation together, asking questions, and having a lot of fun together, that's what we want to do.
That's it.
And so we want to welcome you to the table. We normally have an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. But today we're kind of like off the cuff.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Normally we like to talk, at least have a conversation and say, hey, what do you want to talk about? And kind of go through it, something like that. But today,
Spirit will guide.
We're just going to have a conversation it's a candid conversation.
Yeah.
And we could talk about, I think anything's on the table today.
I think so. And I think this is like a good example of what we could be carrying into our lives, because this podcast, I know your family was kind of different where, there would get like deep-hearted conversations. And growing up in a pastor's family, like we had some of those sometimes, but most of the time it was different. Yeah. So I think it's kind of cool that you can kind of show, hey, these conversations you can have with others.
Yeah. And not every conversation has to be a deep conversation.
No.
Sure.
No. But here are some ways that maybe you can transition, ask prodding questions and
true.
Bring them into.
Ooh, so you're saying I can ask a prodding question today?
Do I have one?
No, I can ask one.
You may.
I don't have any.
Dang.
It's fine. My brain's not working right now. I haven't had caffeine in over a month.
The joy of the Lord.
Hey, it is my strength.
Yeah.
And my weakness, he is strong. Like I'm leaning into the loving arms of Jesus to get me through every day. You've had some caffeine today.
Yeah.
You're good to go. So what I was thinking of is like, okay, so it's kind of like you don't know what you're going to get today. Right. And that's kind of like what Christmas is about. Right. It's like, this is a wrapped gift. And when we open it up, we're like, oh, that's a surprise. That's exactly what I wanted. It was a new pair of socks with your face on it. Like, yay.
I did that. Actually, Caitlin did that. It was incredible.
That was pretty great. We had a friend Christmas party with like a white elephant gift. And that was.
Caitlin won.
Caitlin did a great job. She gave someone a pet cloud.
A pet cloud. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not, but I was rolling. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. I was laughing pretty good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I loved the socks.
Think about that. I brought Caitlin into your life and how much joy.
It's wonderful. I love it so much. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
We need a No, Caitlin, if you're watching, I really do love you. I really do. Very much. You're awesome. So
anyways,
thankful.
Our entree today is a new segment called Has Taylor Seen It?
Yeah, so that was the one thing that we talked about was I said, Taylor, I want to do a segment with you. And Taylor is, he's our resident non-pop culture guy.
Yeah.
Resident non-pop culture guy.
It's terrible. Like I was trying to think, but I offered, no.
He tried to tell us the other day that that Top Gun was a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And Miriam and I both were like, what are you Top Gun, it's one of the famous like Christmas movies. I'm like, have you seen Top Gun? Do you remember Christmas in it at all? No. And he was like, what? And he looked it up on Google and I'm like, I think you're probably thinking about Die Hard, which I'm assuming you also haven't seen. And he was like, yeah, it's not Top Gun. So
after a little Googling later,
it was fun. Yeah,
it was Die Hard.
It was fun. It was Die Hard. Yeah, it was Die Hard, but
which I have not seen.
Which surprise.
There's nothing new under the sun.
So I thought, and this is what I wanted to surprise Taylor with, was this segment of Has Taylor Seen It? And I want to take top 5 Christmas movies of all time, according to Town and Country magazine.
What is Town and Country?
It's probably the magazine that goes to the towns and to the country.
Via Chrysler, like the Chrysler Town and Country?
They're sponsored, yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right.
Legit. Don't look it up. Don't Google that. It's kind of like Top Gun being a Christmas movie.
It is if you give it for Christmas.
Facts are optional. All right.
Details.
So we're going to start off talking about this. I don't really know what kind of gifts we're going to unwrap today, but we're going to just dive in and have some fun. And so let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. So the top 5 Christmas movies. We're going to start with number 5 and we're going to work our way backward. I bet you slow down. Sounds like I have had some caffeine.
You sneaking some?
I have not had any caffeine, I promise. Okay. So number 5 on the Christmas top movies of all time is Home Alone. The original Home Alone. Have you seen Home Alone?
I have.
Okay.
It's
all right.
so good.
Check. There's one.
We actually just watched it with the youth group, and I was like, man, this is such a good movie. And then towards the end, Aaron starts texting me. He's like, oh, they cuss in the end. I was like, oh, well, we're this far anyways. But it was hilarious. I mean, there is nothing as iconic as when the burglars are trying to get into the house. Did I say that word wrong?
No, I just
burglars.
Like burglars. The old burglars.
I mean, because the movie scene that he chooses, the firecrackers, the nail in the foot, the tar and feathers, the paint.
Is that the one with? It's got the paint can that comes down off the banister and the
hot handle.
The hot handle. Yeah.
And then he zip lines into the tree. And he's like, "Hey guys."
Yeah, it's perfect. Home Alone.
Such a good movie.
Okay, so you like that movie?
I love that movie.
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
8.
8. That's pretty high.
It's a good movie.
You know, I probably would agree with you. It is a really good movie. I like Home Alone a lot too. I put it up there, probably 7.5.
Yeah.
8. Yeah, around there as well.
Why did you would maybe know because you have kids?
Okay.
Have you ever left a kid yet?
If I have, I don't.
Hang on. Oh, jeez. Hang on. I'm gonna paint the picture.
Okay.
You're going to Paris.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's
no way. And then you set an older kid to make sure the younger kids are there.
No, because I'll tell you why. Because my older kid would make sure that everything is good to go. Kitely is all about it. Like Marley and I were literally talking about this yesterday. Kitely, she's 6 years old. But man, she's a second mom. And she's like, Daniel, you're going to walk in front of me where I can see you. We're crossing the street. So look both ways. I'm just like, get it, girl. Come on.
A good mother.
She is like the epitome of firstborn. Like it's super sweet too. She loves her brother and her sister. She's very, very protective in that. But there's no way we would be going to Paris. Well, one, we wouldn't go to Paris. So there's that. Can't do that right now.
Like,
yeah, no, that's just not in the cards right now. We're trying to build a home, man. Let's just go one step at a time, okay? Like baby steps, right? Like so. But there is no way. You know my wife. There is no way those kids are getting left behind.
No,
there's no way. I mean,
would you sit in first class and the kids sit in coach?
No, I mean
that's genius. Are you kidding?
I just stuff them in the luggage. Yeah, our kids are. We have young kids, 6, 4, and 1, and so that there's no way they're sitting by themselves, especially in today's climate. Like there's no way that would happen. Now,
that's true.
Them getting left at church because mommy thought daddy had them and daddy thought mommy had them. That's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah,
that's kind of like Jesus getting left in the temple. Like
talk about that a minute.
He gets left. I mean, yeah, how does that happen? I mean, I know they're traveling in caravans of a ton of people, but
your son, who's supposed to be the son of God,
how do you lose the savior of the world? I mean, come on, you think like you want to protect that thing, right?
Right.
Like
he got air tag, he's chipped.
He's chipped. He's got a right. I got his GPS location, whatever. Like what? Like Mary, Joseph,
keep it together.
I mean, do you not recognize what you have here?
Isn't that a grace point though?
Okay,
for parents.
Oh. That even the savior of the world, his parents left him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man. Okay. So,
I mean, they did receive a little lip and correction from the Lord.
From their teenage boy.
Why didn't you expect me here?
Yeah,
in my father's house.
This is where I was supposed to. I mean, yeah, that is like the perfect preteen answer. It's like,
hair flip,
duh, mom. Don't you know I'm where I was supposed to be? What's your problem? Like, I'm pretty sure Jesus didn't sound like, yes, he got the hair
because he's going through his punk.
He whips the tunic, he's like, hey,
it's Mom, not a phase, Mom.
It's not.
I told you I'm feeling funny today.
I love it. Okay. Well, this is fun. Okay, let's get back on track.
What's the next movie?
That was number 5. All right. So number 4, we've got in the number 4 top 5 Christmas movies of all time is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
National
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. She's a beaut, Clark.
I know that phrase.
I have felt the energy when he goes, and then the lights come on. I have felt that so deeply in my soul, living in that realm of audio, visual, and technology and everything.
Is this the one where he goes crazy about lights or something?
He goes crazy about lights. Yeah. He basically blacks out the whole grid.
And then there was something wrong. They didn't plug it into the right outlet.
And then they had to switch.
Okay.
And, yes.
So I have been in the room while it's on. Have I sat down and watched it? No. Would I?
So we're going to put that in the category of Taylor has not seen it. Yeah.
That's
so
fine.
he's not seen it. Okay. But okay. So here's a spiritual side of things for you.
Okay.
What happens when you go about expecting something and it doesn't come to pass as you expected it?
Oh, disappointment?
Ooh, disappointment.
I'm working on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With you talking about with people, with projects, with
Oh.
money, with, I mean, there's a lot of different levels
You
of
can go into so much.
when things don't turn out the way that you were really hoping or really wanting. How do you deal with
can go
that?
two ways about it. Either you learn to helpfully deal with disappointment
Mm-hmm.
or lower your expectations.
Oh,
expect
don't get me started
anything.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so our personalities, like we have high expectations.
Yep.
And Caitlin and I have had this conversation many of times.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a shoot for the stars. Like I'm going to get all this done. And I'm going to stay up till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
to get this done. So
Yeah.
then I overwork myself to the point of getting sick, like physically sick. Like
Yeah.
I'm like laid up for like a week because I can't do anything because I overworked myself. She said, you just need to lower your expectations. And that just like stabs me a little bit. It's probably pride there because, you know, I can expect me to do this because I have done it. I've proved that I can, but sometimes you just don't have to.
Yeah. And I think there's also a realm of just being realistic with timetables. You know, you can be overly optimistic on, oh yeah, I think I could, you know, paint this 10,000 square foot room in 45 minutes. Well, that's
Can you?
very optimistic, but that's not going to happen. I mean, I don't care how good you are. That's not working out.
Yeah.
I think there is an element of that. Sure. We heard one time someone mentioned to us about lowering your expectations of people.
Mhm.
And it kind of pierced my heart, pierced your heart. And we had a conversation about that afterward. And it was just kind of a
So I
sad.
understand what's being said.
Absolutely. It was a sad commentary on basically, you know, you set yourself up for disappointment. And so lower your expectations of people.
And it'll keep you safe.
And that keeps you safe. It's a self-preservation technique. And it just made me really sad to hear that from a seasoned, you know, type of a minister. And because that's not how we feel like we are called to love.
That's not how
and to
God
live
loves
life.
me.
Yeah. And I'm thankful that God doesn't lower his expectations of me when I disappoint him.
Right.
But he keeps calling me into those higher places, and and he's patient with me. Like we just got done teaching a sermon series about being loved, and learning to be loved, and how the very first two characteristics of love is patience and kindness, and how I'm thankful that God does not lose his patience or long suffering with me whenever I, you know, fail to live up to you know, my Christianness or looking like Jesus, you know, because I don't always look like Jesus. Sometimes my flesh gets loud or my soul gets loud, and you know, I get angry or I get frustrated or I get, you know, depressed or anxious, and I allow other external things to really change my behavior and what comes out of me. And I'm just thankful that Father is not like, well, I got to lower my expectation of him now, because I don't want to get hurt. You know, I don't want to love him too much. And I hated hearing that. And I was going to ask you, you know, personally, so how do you deal with disappointment with people? What do you do, Taylor? What do you do when so say it's me, right? You and I are good friends, and maybe you had an expectation of me, whether maybe there was a time spent together, or you know, you wanted me to maybe do something. How do you deal if I don't live up to that expectation? What do you do?
I'm going to say I do not do this healthfully yet.
So
I'm
you're
going
in
to
the
just
process.
preface this.
You're in the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what I will tend to do is I will tend to find the point where I messed up. So even other people's failures, I will try to take it upon myself, because I can't change what you do. And I can't change your circumstances. I know you've got a ton going on. Like, life is crazy.
Yeah.
So I will tend to go and find and nitpick myself.
That's good.
I will nitpick, you know, what I've done that may have caused you to walk away, what may have caused there to be
what you
more
perceive
distance.
or what you think that what may have caused it.
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
So
When in
it's
all
not
reality,
good because that's not being patient with myself.
yeah.
And that's where I have to learn that. And there's other lies that I'm combating anyways.
Sure.
And just out transparency is like, there's a common lie that I carry that I am a bother or I'm not enjoyable to be around. Like those are lies that have been sown deep into me. And those are things that love is like proving otherwise.
Yeah.
Love cancels out those lies. So as I receive the Father's love and he says, no, I rejoice over you. Like I want to spend time with you, that kind of stuff. He's going to begin to tell me the truth of that. No, like that you
that's
are
good.
joy.
Yeah, that's good. To use an interesting and totally different illustration, what you're talking about, when you have a disappointment that you're dealing with another person, your go-to is not to blame the other person, but it's to take it on yourself. Right. And I'm a golfer, and so I look at it like this. So when you're swinging like your driver, you can hit it straight, which would be the ideal scenario. Mm-hmm. If you're right-handed and you hit it out to the right, it's called a slice, or out to the left, it's called a hook. And one of the things that the natural tendency is to slice it. That's a very, 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 very common swing mistake.
Okay.
And I associate that with the same thing of when you have a disappointment with another person, the natural tendency is to blame the other person. Right. So that's like step one is the slice. Well, we got to fix the slice. So instead of now blaming the other person for the issues, I'm going to begin to take it on myself. So you swing the pendulum in the opposite direction. So as you're fixing a slice, oftentimes what will end up happening is you'll start to swing through it and you start swinging through it really good. And then you'll start to hook it a little bit left. And it's still not the desired result, which is to hit it straight, but you have overcorrected in such a way that now you've gone to the other side of the pendulum, but it's better. It's better to hook it because that means I'm actually getting through it and I'm swinging and I'm getting through it. It's better to then look at yourself versus looking at someone else as they're the problem. It's better to turn it this way, but that's not the total correct and good answer.
Kate, I don't know if it's better.
But it is better because, and here's let me explain to you why it's better. It's better now because now God has a position with you to say, okay, now you and I get to work on this together. When it's someone else's problem, you already described this, when it's someone else's issue and you project it onto someone else, the problem may actually lie within you, and that's what God wants to correct ultimately. But if you keep pushing it off as it's someone else's problem, then you're never going to get to a point where you can be honest with yourself to address the actual issues and the root of the things in your life. And that's why it is better in that sense. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's not it's not hitting it down the middle like you want to.
Sure.
Right. But it's at least getting it back to this place. And so you're like in phase 2, right? Like we've corrected phase 1, but now we're into phase 2. And then ultimately it's addressing that problem of the overswinging or of the overswinging of the pendulum, of the overswinging of the golf club, and getting it back to center. And that this is the right swing. This is what we're actually dealing with, which is what God does with your heart when you swing the pendulum back to, okay, Lord, what is it in me that you need to address? Now it's our one-on-one. What is it within me that you are addressing and healing or sometimes it's removing and sometimes it's or pouring into, it could be so many different things. But when we get to that place, now we're at a place where we can actually receive that because it's him and me. It's not me just projecting it onto somebody else and their issues and what's wrong with them. And I think that's a vulnerable and great place to be with the Lord because now all of a sudden you're at a place where like, I'm ready to, hopefully I'm ready to receive this. I'm ready to receive your correction and your instruction because he says that he corrects and he instructs those that he loves. They are the sons. Right. Otherwise, are you even a son?
Right. We have to be watchful in this area too, because it's not woe is me. The Lord is correcting me. It's like you said, it's this called intimacy as, father is correcting his son or father correcting his daughter. It's not even like a whipping or a discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is, this is how we do things.
Let's bring it back to right.
Yeah. Come back to union with me and allow like the king of, like I'm the king of love's domain. And this is the way that we do things. We do things through love. And that's even towards yourself. Because, and I just want to say that out loud, is that even as you're walking through these times of correction, that you're doing these in love, that you're doing this in patience and kindness, towards yourself.
Yeah, you're receiving his love towards you.
Yeah.
And it's shifting your perspective of yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can receive instruction or correction and you can take it on from a prideful perspective and be, 1, haughty and resistant toward it, or 2, highly self-condemning. right? And shame filled. And that's not what Christ is. There's no condemnation in Christ, and he's not bringing shame upon your life, right? What he's doing, he's bringing the correction. You might feel some shame in what you did.
Sure.
But if you receive his correction, if you receive his instruction, then what he does is he brings you out of that place of shame and into the place of freedom,
right?
Into the place of love, and be like, this is why, because he's trying to bring me into life every single time.
Every single time.
And so anyway, that's number 4 on the list. Number 3 top Christmas movies of all time is Elf. Elf. Have you seen Elf?
I have seen it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you've seen Elf. Yes.
I love Elf.
I actually just watched this a couple weeks ago.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. I know him. Ooh, speaking of finding your dad, there's an identity thing right there.
Come on.
Talk about living life, trying to figure out who you are, who your dad is.
Yeah, because that's the story, right? He went to New York to go find his dad. He had to go travel somewhere.
Find out where he fits in, because it's not
because he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because he was literally not fitting in.
Yeah.
He was bigger.
Larger than life, huh?
Yeah.
I think, that's actually a really cool story for all of us is that, many of us are trying to figure out where we fit in and figure out who we are and figuring out our role in life. And, Buddy the elf, he was doing that. And I think many of us can ask that same kind of question. And that's exactly one of the reasons why Jesus was here, was to reveal to us who we are.
Yeah.
Your kingdom come, your will be done. Like he is bringing the kingdom.
Yeah.
And the will of God here right now.
Yeah.
So that we can be revealed as the sons and daughters.
And he's emphatic when someone is showing up as an imposter.
Yeah.
That's not
Santa.
I know him.
Yes.
Defending the image of even the Father.
Yep.
And, you don't have to be nasty about it.
Right.
But in our prayer closet,
we're getting into some
our
fisticuffs.
lives, I can declare who my Father is.
Yep.
Like we just talked about, he's not condemning me. He's not beating me up.
Yeah.
He is lifting me up. And I love even the prayer, because we're talking about identity a little bit. The prayer that Jesus prayed in John was that the people who come to know your faith by these writings.
Yeah.
So that's actually us.
Right.
And that's that we would know that we are one as the Father. Even Jesus are one. Like, yes.
Yes.
What? We're invited to this place of oneness, and I don't know, walk with that.
And I think that's, man, what good news that is to know, because John says that for those who believe, they've been given the right to become sons and daughters of God. And they're born not of flesh and not of water, but by the Spirit.
Yeah.
And so it's this thing that takes place. Nicodemus is like, how can you be born again? What does that even mean? And then you have this other kind of language that's like, in Christ you are a new creation. The old's passed away. Behold, the new has come. That there is some transformational thing that takes place when you decide, I'm going to turn away from who I once was, from what I used to know, and I'm going to step into my identity as a son of God.
I was just thinking about this too, is like as the new child comes, like the new baby, it's not the baby's responsibility to teach themselves how to live in this new life. It's the father's. Like it's the parents' job to instruct and lift us up. So there are times when Christianity that we try to take on the self-help of, I need to learn how to be stronger in faith. I need to learn to be better in prayer. When it's the Father, as we continue to walk in communion with him, that he trains us up and walks us in what people may boil things down to formulas, where it's actually, I'm just walking in a relationship, and out of a relationship I pray, and out of a relationship I fast, and out of a relationship I hunger and thirst for righteousness, and I'll be filled. Like it's the Father raising up his children, in life.
And the Bible actually says that the earth is groaning
Yes.
And awaiting the manifestation of the sons and daughters, that the world is actually desiring those of us to come into that understanding and to step into that identity and destiny and purpose and let it be manifested in our lives and manifest through our lives, that we live and love like our Father. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Buddy walking in downtown, New York City wearing an elf costume. Like he's out of place in this because he is dressed in something totally different. And that's the manifestation of the sons, and daughters, that we're dressed and it's written in the scripture that we put on Christ, that we're clothed in Christ, that we are, which is counter to what the
culture.
world, the culture, what that will put out, that Jesus was countercultural, not just with the world's culture. He was even countercultural to the church culture in so many ways. And so, oftentimes that's the case, that as we, as sons and daughters are communing with our Father, and our Father is teaching us how to live, how to move, how to have our being in Him, then we are putting that Buddy the Elf costume on, right? Like, and it looks like joy, and it's distinct and it's identifiable, that everyone else knows. I know what that is.
Yeah,
I know what that is, and so. Buddy the Elf. So if you could rate Elf on a scale of 1 to 10, favorite Christmas, 10. Okay.
That's such a good movie.
It's because of how his breakfast.
Congratulations, you've done it. You've made the best cup of coffee in the world.
It's a pretty great.
It celebrates others' success.
It's such like childlike joy.
Yeah,
it is really, really great.
There's such an innocence to that too, because even like the shower scene or whatever, when she's singing and
and he's just chilling.
And that's a child of God. We're innocent, we're pure. And that kind of stuff.
To the pure, all things are pure.
Man, go preach that.
Come on now.
There's your message for Christmas Eve.
So number 2 is It's a Wonderful Life. Have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life? That's an older movie. It's a classic. That's a classic. Taylor has not seen It's a Wonderful Life, and now he's kicked off the podcast. Just kidding. We're not into cancel culture here.
Okay, I'm back.
I just want to bring you into the goodness that is It's a Wonderful Life.
Hang on. Is this actually a good movie, or is it's a classic?
No, well, yes, it is a classic. Yes, it is also a good movie.
Just because something is old.
Okay, so then what do you categorize as a good movie? I mean,
Top Gun is great.
Okay.
And it's worthy of it.
Why is it great?
The storyline is really good.
Okay, so the substance matters.
It really matters.
Yes, it does.
Because I've seen movies, and maybe this is why I'm kind of like poo-poo on movies, is that people is like, oh, it's a classic, you've got to watch it, and it sucked.
I understand that.
It's kind of like almost, oh, jeez. Walking in dangerous territory here.
Tread lightly, my friend.
So like the 60s to 80s.
Okay.
Like the music.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound good. I understand at some point, that's what they had to work with. But if you compare that music quality to what it is today, and you want to say that this is better than that, there's a reason why they keep putting out remasterings, is because they suck at mastering. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. The newer stuff sounds better. Was the writing better? Maybe. That's how I feel about movies. It's because, maybe they only had access to a film, or, they didn't have Final Cut Pro X. I don't care. Like, watch an old thing or watch a new thing. I'm probably going to watch the new thing.
So It's a Wonderful Life.
Not so wonderful.
It's an old movie. It's an older movie. It has a great storyline.
We'll have to watch it.
We're going to watch it. And I'm going to peel your eyelids open so you watch the whole thing, no matter what you think. It's a great movie. I'll lasso the moon for you, Mary. I love it. It's a good one. So you can't even rate that one.
I'm assuming that's a quote.
But I'd rate that one up there, probably 7.5, 8. I'd give Elf about an 8 for sure. That's a great one. 8 or 9. That's up there. And then the number 1 Christmas movie of all time.
Oh, wait. It's a Wonderful Life. That's a great declaration to pray every morning.
Yes, it is.
It's a wonderful life.
It is a wonderful life. And not taking for granted the things that are in your life, and not striving to have to make everything work by yourself.
And not being envious.
And not, dude, there's so much there. Yeah. But we're going to continue on. Right. So the final one is It's a Christmas Story. Oh my gosh. You'll shoot your eye out.
No.
Show me how the piggies eat. Oh, fudge.
I feel like
Except I didn't say that word. I said the queen bee of all bad words.
You did?
No, you gotta see the movie. Okay. All right.
So Taylor
hasn't seen it. Okay. Sounds good. It's a great one. It's a great one. It's the one where he gets his tongue stuck to the pole, the frozen pole.
I remember the scene.
So you have maybe seen some of it, or probably clips of it. You don't know. Okay. We're going to watch that one too. I'm going to tape your eyes open. And we're going to watch that one too. And I'm going to get you a pair of Christmas pajamas with my face on them going, Christmas time.
Listen, if that actually happens, I'll post it online.
I need to find a place to make that. Yes, that would be amazing. Okay, so that's up there as well. That's probably you got your decoder ring. I can't even make all these quotes because you won't get it. It's okay. Oh man.
This is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. Quotes going like this. Great, Caleb. Enjoy it. Enjoy your quote by yourself.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so there's that. Okay.
Listen, I know the Son of God well, but this Son of Man thing, it's just not.
You know the ultimate Christmas story. Do you know the leg lamp? Do you know the leg lamp? Do you at least know Fragile?
Have I seen it? And have I been like, oh, I can't look at that? You know that? Like as a kid, I was like, oh my God, they're going to try to get me to go to hell. The fishnets.
Guard those gateways, baby. Just can't eat. Oh man.
Above all else,
I think
guard your heart.
Guard your heart. I think part of my favorite part of that whole entire movie is when the
you're going to say it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I don't care. If you haven't seen it by now, you missed it. This is spoiler alert.
Honestly,
#, spoiler alert. Okay.
The best site's going to be me in those pajamas anyway. So
my favorite part is the dad when he's trying to get the furnace to work or the boiler to work, and he's downstairs and he's just like making up all these cuss words, and he's just like, that's my Christian childhood. Instead of like, you ever have that?
Kidding.
Like you're not saying, you're like, oh,
I have a core memory. Okay, so Grammy.
Snap.
You know Grammy.
Snap. Yes, I know Grammy. She's so sweet.
Yeah, she's a good cook.
Yeah?
I don't think I've told her this story.
Okay.
This time she failed.
Uh-oh.
She let us down.
Oh, no, Grammy.
We got this. We got the leftovers that day. And Mom was like, it was after a few days, but she said, go and take that out to the field. Because that was like the normal thing to do.
It's like when the dog's at the end of it, it's like, we'll take them out to the field. It's the country, happened. Folks. It's the country.
It's happened. So I was like, man, this food was so yucky. And I was trying to think of words that were rhyming. So I was like, I can't think of any. So I went down the alphabet. Bucky, Ducky,
oh, no.
Gucky, yuck. You can guess.
And you got to the F word.
Yeah. I was like, oh, God, I'm so sorry.
I'm going to hell.
I think I cried.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, I have a core memory of me and my family sitting around the table and me playing devil's advocate on why are words bad? Who decides that a word is bad?
How old
it's just
were you?
A word. What does that even mean?
Was this last week?
Oh, I was probably in high school. It could have been last week. I love to play devil's advocate.
I know you do.
It's so much fun. I love my mom and
I love to gaslight.
And my dad. And so sometimes I just play devil's advocate and get under their skin. It's terrible, but yes, I would all the time. And I'd stand by and I'd make all these ridiculous like statements and be like, oh, what about this? I think about this.
I enjoy to watch it.
Yeah.
I love seeing your mom get all flustered.
You've seen it happen. Yeah. Yeah. Mom, we love you.
Yeah, we do.
But I had a whole conversation on, I remember having a whole conversation on like why
Wasn't
words
it because
are bad.
The poor would say those words and then rich people were like, we don't want to sound like the poor. I think that's where they came from.
Okay.
You can Google it.
Okay, cool.
Top Gun is a Christmas movie. Speaking of Christmas, Merry Christmas from us at the table.
Merry Christmas.
I hope you have a good time
at the table. I hope you have a wonderful time. This has been a great conversation of a bunch of random stuff. Yeah. And we hope that you can have a bunch of random gifts and wonderful times together with your family. And you can even prompt a conversation just like, I had no idea that's where that was going today, but that was fun.
It was fun.
We talked about a lot of different kinds of things. So maybe
that could be a game. We can make a board game.
Yeah.
Do not steal this idea. I will come after you. We're going to make a board game, and it's going to be cues, and you're going to have to come up with a sermon on the spot in 60 seconds.
Oh, I love that.
Don't steal that. The table's making it. I'm not kidding.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's going to be a card set.
That's going to be a segment that we're going to have. You're going to pick two different words, put them together, and I'm going to have to, and you're going to have to make a sermon out of that.
All right.
The association game. Sermon. It's called Sermon Association.
Okay.
I love it. Boom. Creative. This is what happens at the table.
From us at the table. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from us at the table. We love you. like and subscribe, comment and share. Comment on the bottom. What are your top 5 favorite Christmas movies?
Yeah.
And tell Taylor how he needs to get on it, okay?
I'm not going to listen.
Peer pressure.
I will not succumb. I will fight.
That's fine. Anyway, thank you for joining us at the table.
You always have a seat.